Alright, I'm going to do a quick garden update for the beginning of August. We're in the greenhouse, and the tomato plants that I started indoors, they've been hitting the roof for quite some time, and that's actually some overvegetation, I think. And that can happen when the nutrients are off in the soil, the macronutrients, NPK, nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus. If those are off, sometimes you'll get a lot of vegetation without a lot of fruiting. We do have, some tomatoes that are starting to turn a little bit red. These are the big Italian tomatoes. We've got some flowers going on that we've been hand pollinating with paintbrush, like a little watercolor brush. Another thing to know about tomato plants is when you have something coming off here, pull that off, because that'll just rob the plant of water. When there's these white hairs, those are like roots, and you can just stick this in the ground and it'll grow another tomato plant. A little late in the season for that, but that's what you can do when you pull off those suckers, is just make new plants out of them. And so we put some fertilizer in there to maybe balance out the NPK in the soil, and hopefully that'll help us get more tomatoes. But a little tomato info for you, and what's going on in the greenhouse. Alright, in the next garden we're growing some corn. It's about as tall as I am. And corn likes to get started with a lot of water, but then kind of dry out, and then a lot of water when it's producing corn. So it works well with monsoons. When it tassels, you want to take the tassels and fertilize all the silks. It's a monoecious, self-pollinating plant. If the silks are brown, they're fertilized. If they're white, they're not. And each silk goes to make a kernel of corn. But there's a little bit on corn. Let's go to the next grow bed. Alright, next grow bed. Got some scarlet runner beans here. And we alternate beans because they're nitrogen fixing. They'll put nitrogen in the soil. Got some cucumbers going on down here. I found them to be actually a little delicate. But cucumbers in the bottom. Got this sort of a structure that the beans grow on. That worked really well. They're up there taller than me. I like the scarlet runner beans. And then just a few amaranth and some outdoor tomato plants where we stuck some of the suckers into the dirt and just grew new plants. But walk down to the end here. Looks like we got some carrot going to seed. This is the carrot right there. And then in this next grow box, got some squash, and we just harvested some squash, so they're producing here at the 1st of August. And some zucchini. We like to eat the zucchini blossoms. There's male and female flowers, and you want to hand pollinate to make sure you get lots of zucchini. But so this is just sort of a melon grow bed with mostly melon. We saw our grow bed with mostly the scarlet runner beans and cucumbers on the bottom, the corn, the tomato greenhouse. And let's go to the front. Lots of flowers in the flower bed. They help bring in bees and other pollinators. So they do have a good function, actually, having flowers. Our plum tree had a bunch of aphids, so it was stunted this year. Hopefully that turns out. Pond flowers doing awesome. I like the wild geraniums. Got some berry bushes that we put in, some lilacs. columbine. The cold frame sort of petering out like it should this time of year, went to seed. Blackberry bush doing good, and that's in our row of fruit trees. 4 different fruit trees there. We put in a bunch of lilac and willow trees this year. This little grow box isn't doing too much. It's sort of been neglected. But there's some of the fruit trees. Not as much growth in the aquaponics as I thought. We'll see if we get any fruit from that. Mostly just an experiment. Lots of nice flowers in the gray water area, so that's kind of neat. This herb garden's doing well. Kind of focused on perennials here. Got a few different types of strawberry. Ton of chives. Columbine slipped in there. Some amaranth. Lots of dill. Cilantro. Some of these strawberries are, I think they're called alpine strawberries. They're white and taste like pineapple. It's our herb garden. Got some basil in there that's kind of a delicate plant I found, and some nasturtium. Then over here we have the big garden. We got some corn, but what happened in here, we had a hailstorm that shredded a lot, but this amaranth just reseeded like crazy, and it kind of pushed out the corn. We still have a lot of melon going on here at the bottom. When it's the middle of the day and the leaves look droopy like that, I think that's okay, because it seems like they do really well when they get droopy in the heat of the day, and then all of a sudden you water them at night and they bounce back. I think going from droopy to then enlivened, the turgor pressure, I think that's almost like a pump, and it sort of helps them to grow. But man, look at all that amaranth. Just came back crazy. So there's the front garden of our bigger garden. And then we planted a lot of things along the fence line. Virginia creeper, some penstemon, there's a blackberry bush, lots of hollyhock. That guy's Eaton's penstemon. Put in some willow trees. The hollyhocks did really well this year. Hollyhocks take 2 years before they flower. So if you plant some, you'll have to be patient. But we brought in a lot of plants this year, and a lot of trees. It'd be neat if we could just fast forward 20 years, see how big they get. This was a new grow bed this year. Got a big sunflower in there, and some scarlet runner beans. A few other things going on. This is watered from a hole that I screwed in the rain gutter. Water's right on the plants. Seems to be working out pretty well. The bathroom gray water beans, scarlet runner beans and bush beans, and that's the update on that. That's the gray water from my bathroom sink. Here's a side yard garden. Melons and corn doing well. Scarlet runner beans going up the fence. This is a new garden this year. We expanded this out from our alfalfa patch. Here's the old alfalfa patch. It came back this year real nice. So there's the side yard garden. So there's your 1st of August garden update video. And just keep at it. You know, gardening is about perseverance, really. You think it's about plants and fruit, and you realize it's about dirt and bugs and hail and perseverance. So keep it up.